Paozo. Let's set the scene. It's after school, and you're out in the school grounds practicing your chosen sport. The sport doesn't really matter here. What matters is that you're outside and somewhere far from the buildings. And then you hear it. A strange sound coming from somewhere nearby. It almost sounds like an elephant. How stupid, right? First of all, this is Japan. There's no way a wild elephant would be running around on the streets, let alone near your school. So what on earth could the sound be? You look around but see nothing. Weird. Very weird. You bring it up with some of the other students, and it turns out that they've also heard this strange sound before. This roar that sounds just like an elephant. What on earth could it be? Even more weirdly, it turns out that nobody has ever seen the creature that's making this sound. But if you go down to the school grounds after school, chances are very good you will hear it. Is it a ghost? A monster? Something else? Nobody has ever seen it, nor has it ever caused any harm. But thanks to its strange roar, the students come to call it Paozo. So, this is a strange creature that comes to us from Hokkaido. In particular, Paozo is said to appear at one particular high school in Hakodate City, and if you go down to the rear of the school grounds during the evening, you'll hear something crying, "Pow! Pow!" In Japanese, this is the sound an elephant makes, and so the students dubbed the creature Paozo. Zo here means elephant. So the equivalent in English would be something like Pau elephant. Yeah, it sounds a little less silly in Japanese. In any case, the identity of this creature remains unknown. It has never been seen, although it has apparently often been heard. It's a strange creature that simply trumpets into the night, and that's literally it. Some have compared it to a nue, a legendary creature that is also known to make strange sounds into the night. According to some legends, this creature is said to have the head of a monkey, body of a tanuki, limbs of a tiger, and the tail of a snake. Others claim that it has the head of a cat, body of a chicken, and tail of a fox. Either way, it's an amalgamation of various animals that makes an eerie, unsettling sound as it cries out into the night. So perhaps Paozo is a unique Hokkaido variant. Either way, this strange voice has never physically shown itself, nor has it ever harmed anyone. So at this point, it's considered weird, but not especially dangerous. AI Granny. Grannies. I love them, you love them. They keep Japanese horror alive, let's be real. And in this day and age, it should be no surprise to learn that there's yet another granny joining the cohorts of the elderly who love to stalk, maim, and abduct people all over the country. They call this one AI Granny. Thankfully, this granny doesn't spend her time generating terrible images that look like soulless ass when she could just pick up a pencil and create something far better. But rather, she herself is part of the system. As the story goes, if you enter your school's computer room on April 4th at 4:44 AM and turn on one of the computers, you'll be met with a computer-generated image of an old lady. And what does this old lady do? Reach out and pull you into the computer. Of course. Abducting you to the world of Tron or something, I guess. Honestly, considering how things are out here right now, take me, AI Granny. I'm ready to take my chances inside the computer now. Of course, her name isn't just for show. She's AI in the older, more common sense of the term, in that she's a machine learning program that somebody created. The kicker is that nobody is sure who or why someone created this artificial granny who is now learning at a geometric rate. It's perhaps also a sign of the times that, not long after she starts learning, this program decides to immediately choose violence. I mean, I can't say I blame her. Understandable, really. It should also be no surprise that she appears on April 4th at 4:44 a.m. Not sure why you'd want to be at school at that time, but with its close association to the word for death, a lot of monsters are known to show up either on this particular date, or at least at this particular time. 4 o'clock Granny is perhaps the most famous, but hey, if it's April 4th and approaching 4:44, then you can pick your poison at this rate. Go turn on a computer. Go knock on a toilet door. Go stand in front of a mirror. There's no shortage of grannies that will happily abduct you over to their world. At this point, I'm ready to take my chances. Akemi-chan. If you're a Yandere Simulator fan, this next one's for you. Akemi-chan. She looks just like a regular high school girl, and when she sets her sights on someone she likes, she'll stop at nothing to get them. Why, she might even pull a couple of Chinese knives out of her school bag while she's chasing you down to let you know that she means business. But Akemi-chan has a secret, and no, it's not that she's actually quite proficient at chopping vegetables with those knives. Rather, you see, Akemi-chan is actually a doll. As the story goes, a university student on his way to see a friend sees a cute girl on the train. They get to talking, and he finds out her name is Akemi-chan. But everything about this girl is setting off alarm bells. Her conversation is all over the place, and she herself seems to be making a strange clicking sound whenever the train moves. Also, when she opens her bag to grab her phone, he notices 2 huge Chinese knives inside. Creeped out, he basically makes a run for it once they arrive at the station. But later that night, she shows up at his friend's apartment, knives at the ready. Naturally, they call the police, but Akemi-chan is gone by the time they arrive, and that seems to be the end of that. Except not really, because this is a horror story we're talking about, after all. A month or so later, he runs into her again. She has been looking for him all this time. He runs, but she gives chase, and when she catches up, she points out that she is in his pocket, so she'll always know where he is. Inside, he finds what looks like a doll's finger, and she threatens to kill him if he tries to throw it away. She drags him back to his apartment, and there, he sees a weird seam in the back of her neck. She appears to be a doll, and when he hits her with a kettle, this is all but confirmed as the top part of her head breaks off, but she continues talking. Fleeing the apartment, he runs to a nearby shrine just down the road and yeets the doll finger towards the main building. After that, he hears the sound of a car hitting something behind him. And of course, it's Akemi-chan, now lying in pieces on the ground. Everyone is incredibly confused, but it seems that's the end of this yandere doll. So, if you ever come across a cute girl with medium-length hair who seems to jump all over the place when talking and has seams running down the back of her neck, beware. She might actually be a doll out to kidnap you. Which, in this economy, hey, if her apartment's nice, I mean, why not, right? Beggars can't be choosers. But what did you guys think of this one? Are there any other legends, creatures, or ghosts that you'd like me to explore? Let me know in the comments below, and if you'd like to help support this channel so you can see more content like this, please consider hitting that join button down below as well. Every bit of support really helps. Thanks guys, and I'll see you again next time.